Bûche de Noel. Hey everybody, my name's Elise Mayfield and this is Smart Cookie. Today we are going to be making a Bûche de Noel. What's a Bûche de Noel? Good question, everyone. A Bûche de Noel is like a roulade cake that's decorated to look like a log. And the basis of it is a traditional sponge cake recipe. So sponge cake recipe is actually one of the oldest cake recipes that we know of. It's an old English recipe. So the first thing you're going to want to do is take your eggs and you're gonna separate your eggs. So these are just the egg yolks. I have the egg whites in a separate bowl, but we're gonna go ahead and get our egg yolk in a bowl. We're gonna add some sugar. It's about 1/3 cup of sugar. We're just gonna mix this up until I want it to be kind of like light yellow and fluffy. Kick it up a notch. Ching, ching. And now we're gonna add some water. We're gonna add some vanilla in there. You check your recipe and then you blend it a little bit more. Right, okay. Just a little dash of salt. You don't need to measure it out, just give it a little pinch. So we're just gonna do some cocoa. I'm just gonna fold in the cocoa to give it some chocolatey goodness. We're also putting some almond flour in here. This is super fine almond flour, and we're gonna use cake flour. Now, what's the difference between cake flour and AP flour? Let me tell you. Cake flour has cornstarch blended into it. So if you actually don't have any cake flour at home and you wanna make a sponge cake, you can actually make your own cake flour by substituting in a couple tablespoons of cornstarch along with your AP flour. All right. So this guy's gonna fly away for a second. Fly like an eagle. Put the beaters in the mixer. All right, so these are our egg whites from our separated eggs. And this is some cream of tartar. Cream of tartar is an acid and it's gonna help us with some stability. Okay. Oh man. Crap. So I'm starting this off at a pretty low speed and I'm gonna slowly add 1/3 cup of sugar. Add it in slow so that the sugar has time to dissolve in with the egg whites while they're whipping. So you can see my egg whites are starting to become bigger and they're white. Kicking it up a notch. Lord, this takes forever. Yeah! So they're ready, you can tell, like, look at those. Just hanging out. They're not going anywhere. Boop-a-doop. Okay. So I'm bringing my chocolate base back that had my egg yolks in it and all of our flour. I'm gonna add our egg whites and 3 additions into our chocolate batter. Oh yeah. So you don't wanna stir it very fast. You're kind of moving it around the bowl and you're literally gonna kind of tuck it into the other batter. T-Rex says, go slow. And while I'm gently folding these in, let's have a little story time, shall we? Gather around, people on the internet. Let me tell you about the history of the Bûche de Noël. Bûche de Noël is traditionally a French dessert, but it's based off of a very ancient pagan ritual about celebrating the Yule log. The ashes were supposed to represent the past year in hopes that they would be prosperous the next year. Somehow in the history of things, it went from an actual burning log to making a cake that looked like a log that people ate. So that is our Smart Cookie fact of the day. Ding! This is all combined. Perfect. Slide it over. Get your pan. Jelly roll pan, 15 by 10, very specific. I'm gonna pour this batter evenly into it. Oh, love, so glad you came over for Christmas. I'm going to make a Bûche de Noël. Fantastic. I'm gonna put it in the oven now. 375, 10 minutes. Seriously, it only takes 10 minutes. That's like super quick in cake world time. It's ready. Okay. Oh man, it smells chocolatey and delicious. Here's what you are looking for with your sponge cake. With my little finger, I'm just gonna poke the top and you can see it's spongy. I'm gonna flop it out. Oh boy. It's like in my nose. Everything's fine. Da, 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 da. Ah! Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Woo! All right, so take your parchment off. You're gonna use your towel to roll this up. So I'm gonna kind of fold over, and then I'm gonna use the ends of this towel to roll this cake. Like, it's a little scary, because you're like, oh my God, is this cake gonna break? But it's really not. Like, it's super spongy right now, but you have to do this while it's super hot right out of the oven. Lay it on the seam, cool the cake on a rack, and you'll want it to completely cool for a half hour. By the magic of television, we made one of these yesterday. Now, hopefully it will have kept its shape. Oh yeah. Yes, nailed it, everyone. So while it's still on the table, I'm gonna go ahead and fill this with whipped frosting. That's gonna be a little bit lighter, a little easier to spread, because I wanna avoid tearing my cake. And I'm going all the way to the edges for this. There's no reason to leave an edge. All of the edges can be filled. Now that we have frosted the center, we're gonna roll this right back up into a little roulade. Now, a roulade is just a roll. You can do it with cake, you can do it with steaks, you can do it with chicken. It just means something that's rolled with something in the center. Oh boy. Perfecto! So you're gonna lay your cake seam side down on your platter. I think that this makes it really fun. We are gonna decorate this cake to look like a piece of wood. So what I'm gonna do is cut a diagonal piece of this cake off of the end. Look at that! It's like a giant ho-ho. Y'all, it is like a giant ho-ho. Great. And then what I'm gonna do with this piece that I have already rolled, I'm gonna stick it onto the side. Look at that, do you see what I'm doing? I'm making a log. You know, it's like the knot on the side of a tree. So now, we just have to decorate it. For the outside, I'm going with a good old classic chocolate frosting. So we're just gonna start frosting a little bit. I'm gonna give this little guy a little extra help, add a little extra frosting onto the side. So now he's good and stuck on there. And then we're just gonna gently frost this. You still wanna kind of be gentle. The sponge cake is delicate, so you can't just kind of slap it on there. You do have to have a little finesse. Kind of starting to look like a log. Now that we've frosted it, I'm gonna use a fork to score this to look a little bit more like bark. Give it a little bit of texture. You can add some curly waves in there. And then on the ends, I kind of like to do like a little spiral. What's going on? Frosting. So look at that. Kind of looks like a tree, right? Like vaguely reminiscent of a tree. Okay, let's add pistachios for moss. Some green pistachios. We'll just do a few here on the top. A little bit of moss. This is the extent of my like adult decorations, because let me tell you what I found. Hashtag not sponsored, but could be. Teddy grams. Not only do they have the teddies, but look, there's like little flowers, and there's like little butterflies, and there's little like bumblebees. Even better, I went to our local Asian market and I found these candies called Choco Boy. They are little chocolate and cookie mushrooms. Like, how perfect is that? These we can just plant kind of around the edges. Like there's little mushrooms growing in your forest. So cute. Choco Boy. Fantastique. Okay, I think one of the most exciting parts of this is to cut into it. Oh yeah. Bûche de Noel! And that is my recipe for a Bûche de Noel. I hope that you enjoyed our video and that you might want to make this yourself. If you do, please like, comment, share, subscribe, all of those things. Let me know how your recipe went. I hope that you have an incredible holiday. Happy holidays! Ha ha!